Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Eva and I'm so excited slash a little scared for this video. I'm excited because we are going to be talking about every single shade of the new MOIRA Cosmetics Chroma Light eyeshadows. The reason why I'm scared is because I'm not only going to swatch these on my arm, I'm going to swatch these on my eyelids. So if you watched my previous video of the About Face foundation, I filmed it back to back, and so I'm being an outfit repeater right now. But my priority is being comfy and cozy because my eyelids are about to be in a fair amount of pain and irritation from swatching. I don't even know how many are in here. 24 shadows. So if you are interested in learning more about this launch, seeing these apply on my eyelids, then also figuring out are any of these a dupe for the very popular Urban Decay single shadows, then go ahead and keep on watching. And if you are not already, please subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. Following me on Instagram does really help because I'm very tiny, and the more followers I have on Instagram, the more likely I am to be able to receive PR from brands, which will help me review more products. If you are not familiar with MOIRA Cosmetics, I mean, you're missing out. MOIRA Cosmetics is an amazing, affordable brand. I feel like they're kind of like what ColourPop used to be. And that's no shade to ColourPop. I still really love ColourPop, but they haven't done as many like innovative launches, except for the Chroma eyeliners. But for the most part, they haven't done anything super innovative, in my opinion, for the last several years, whereas MOIRA has been pumping out new formulas around the clock. MOIRA is, for the most part, online only, but my understanding is they do carry some MOIRA products, I believe at Fred Meyer, but I always just order online. I'll eventually do a video like talking about my best and worst of MOIRA because I've tried so much of their lineup, but as you know, today's video is focused on the chromatic eyeshadows. So a little more about the launch. These retail for $6. There are 24 shades, and they also do sell a bundle that gives you around $25 off. The claims from the website that I'm reading from are this incredible product delivers high pigmented metallic finish with a foiled effect that is sure to turn heads. Its microfine glitter provides maximum sparkle with minimal fallout, and its creamy and smooth formula blends seamlessly for a radiant and versatile look that lasts all day. So those are the claims. What I'm going to do, because I'm going to be swatching all 24 on my eyelids, I am not going to prime my eyes for that purpose. That would just let's get real, that would take way too long to remove, prime, let it dry, apply, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch on my bare eyelid, which is kind of the way I wear eyeshadow a lot of the times because I can be quite lazy. But then I'm going to pick a couple of shades to do an actual wear test. So for those shades, I will apply a primer, and then we'll see kind of throughout the rest of my afternoon if there's fallout. Because I know that's, for me at least, when I'm looking at sparkly shadows, the question I always have is, okay, yeah, these are beautiful, but are these gonna fall all over my face throughout my day? Let's get into the shades. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and open up every single shade and then talk through the shades, apply them on my eyelids. We have unpackaged all 24 shades, and let's go ahead and get them on my eyes. We're gonna go in order 1 through 24. Starting off with number 1, this is the shade Fairy Dust. This is a very beautiful sparkly champagne color. Let's get her swatched. For all of these, I'll do initial hand swatches, and then we'll do arm swatches at the end. So here is Fairy Dust. Very ethereal, very aptly named. Very, very pretty. It is a true, I want to say it's actually a clear base with silver champagne sparkles. Maybe not a clear base, a very light champagne base. Let's get this on the eyes. I know it's one of my verbal tics. I watch these videos back and every other word is let's get into it. But whatever. I'm going to apply all of these with my finger because that is how I like to apply shimmery metallic shades. And as I mentioned earlier, we are doing no primer. Whoa, okay, that is stunning. This is beautiful. I'm gonna zoom you in closer so we'll have you zoomed in for the remainder of the swatches. Here we have the shade Fairy Dust on my eye. That one swatched beautifully, very minimal fallout. Again, we'll do a wear test later, but pretty minimal fallout upon application. Next, we have the shade number 2, Tempting, and this has a like rusty pink base with shimmer sparkles. Here it is on my hand. Let's get that on the eyes. I'm just patting it on. Not going to worry too much about application because I'm sure my face will be potentially covered in eyeshadow by the end of this video. Okay, this one's very light. I'm going to build this up a little more. My initial impression is these kind of remind me, not in formula, but in appearance, of a ColourPop Super Shock shadow. The way it looks once applied, not the metallic ones, but the shimmer formula. Here we have the shade Tempting all over the lid. We are going to remove these from the eyelids and move in to the next set of shades. Shade number 3 is the shade Kiss and Tell, and this is a beautiful purple base with silver sparkles. This one is much more metallic than those first two upon initial swatch. Here is the hand swatch, and way shinier, and the base has a lot more pigment than the other two. We're going to apply this on the lid. Here is the shade Kiss and Tell. Shade number 4 is Summer Dream, and this one has a really cool purple blue green almost flip. I'll insert a clip that I took on my iPhone in sunlight, and you can really see how, depending on how the light shines on it, what the color looks like. And this reminds me of that famous MAC shade. I have it in a loose pigment. I think I may still have it. It's legitimately, if I do 15 years old, I'll look for it in a little bit. Reminds me of that shade. It's like that brown, purpley blue shade. And here it is swatched out. Here we have Summer Dream. Sugar Crush is a really pretty bronzy nude. It's not overly bronzy. It's pretty neutral. This is it swatched out. This one has a stronger base than some of the other ones. Looks quite metallic in the swatch. This one also feels a lot smoother than the other shades. That one is way more pigmented in the base than the others, and I think it applies really beautifully to the lid. This is the shade number 5, Sugar Crush. Shade number 6 is the shade Honey Glow, and this is a true metallic gold. I mean, that shadow looks wet. This is it swatched on the hand. This is the shade Honey Glow. We are a fourth of the way done. The next shade is shade number 7, Spellbound, which is like a purple, but it has an interesting bronze flip to it. Let's see if the camera can pick it up. Oh, not totally picking it up, but it does have a really cool flip to it where it's a purple and then it kind of turns almost like a cranberry shade, cranberry brown. Okay, yeah, the camera is picking it up. So here we have shade number 7, Spellbound. Shade number 8 is the shade Sunstone, and this is a very deep bronze. Ooh, that is pretty. Yeah, the base of it is a really nice brown, and then more of a warmer brown, and then it has a little gold flecks in it. A very metallic looking shade. This is the shade Sunstone. Next we have Blossom Skies, which is a really pretty blue teal shade. It looks like the base is teal and then the shimmers are like blue with a bit of a green flip. So here is Blossom Skies. Really, really pretty. This is the shade Blossom Skies. I'm so impressed by this shade. It's immediately making me think of a lot of my beloved indie brands and their shades, like, you know, like Lethal Cosmetics, for example. I'm getting that vibe. Next, we have another blue shade. This one is lighter, and it is the shade Aqua Marine. It's more of a seafoam. Yeah, I would say more of a seafoam green. It has a lighter base, and then I want to say there's a little bit of like a yellow flip to it. I'm not an expert at describing like chrome, duochrome shadows, so apologies if my my vocabulary is a little off. Okay, this one is a little bit sheerer, but still very pretty. This one is pretty crumbly and flaky to apply. I don't know if I love this one. This is one, when I wear it next, I'm gonna wear it as more of a topper shade. So it's a little crumbly and messy, and that base is pretty thin. That's my note on that shade. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit because it's looking really crazy. This is the shade Aqua Marine. With all the fallout and the removal of my foundation under my eyes, I look like I have an injury. That looks very, very special. We are almost halfway there. Almost halfway there. My eyelids are excited. Next up, we have shade number 11, Golden Topaz. And this is a bronzy gold. Like, it's warmer than the other bronze from earlier. Here's what it looks like on the finger. Swatched really pretty. It is basically just like it's a warm gold. I don't really know what else more to say. Nothing crazy special about it based on the swatch, but we will see when we apply. This one is really meh in my opinion. Like, it's just okay. It's much sheerer than I would like, and it's nothing special. It's not terrible, but I wouldn't recommend this one, so I would skip Golden Topaz. Here is the shade Golden Topaz. Now we have a shade I'm very excited for. This is the shade Rosé, and it is a pinky purple. It's a pink, but definitely leans purple. Finger swatches, hand swatch. I know the hand swatches are getting kind of convoluted because it's hard to get all the glitter off. Very promising swatch. This one's quite sheer, actually, upon application. This is the shade Rosé. This one's really pretty. It is a little bit more sheer, but it is really pretty, and this would be a really pretty topper shade. Shade number 13 is another purple shade. This one looks a lot like one of the Urban Decay ones, just on first glance. Ooh, this is pretty. Ooh, this is really pretty. This has like a purple, red, blue kind of shift thing going on. Okay, pretty sheer actually, but that shift is really pretty. And this one is the shade Renegade. That is really, really pretty. Wow. Again, it's on the sheer side, but it's like sheer in a really good way. It looks very like ethereal on the eyelids. This is shade 13, Renegade. Number 14 is Birthday Girl. And this is really pretty. I mean, I'm saying that for almost all of them. It is like a champagne pink shift. Like in some light, it looks bronzy champagne-y, and then in a different angle, it looks pink. Hopefully this will kind of pick up that shift a little bit. Like, I don't need every single shimmer shadow to be super metallic. I like that in this, there is a range of ones that have more of a sheer base and then ones that are more straight metallic. This is shade 14, Birthday Girl. My eyelids are on absolute fire. Absolute fire, but I just need to get through these. Next up, we have shade number 15, Unbothered, and this one's really cool. This one has a really dramatic flip. It's picking it up a little bit there, but it is a green gold. It is gold when you look at it straight on, but then when you get to that angle, it's almost like a pewter shade. I think that's the proper terminology or the proper description. Whoa, that's cool. It has actually, now that I'm looking at it, almost like a red base and then like a gold green on top. This one's really unique. So this is shade 15, Unbothered. Here is the shade Unbothered. Shade 16 is Born to Be. This one also has a pretty dramatic shift. Looking straight on, it looks like a copper, but then when you turn it to the side, it becomes more of a green shade. It's not totally doing it justice on camera, but in certain lighting, I promise you it has a very dramatic flip. This one is really, really unique. That copper to like green gold to red shift is really, really something special. So this is shade Born to Be. '17 is the shade Opal Glazed. And this is one of those really cool like white shades that has a shift. The shift in this one is like green and purple. I love these shades over like matte colored shadows as a way to really transform the look. But then on the lid on their own, they're also really pretty. Wow, this reminds me of one of my Cleona eyeshadows that I have. I think that's I think I'm pronouncing the brand properly. Okay, wow, that is indie shadow goodness right there for $6. Wow, that is beautiful. That is so stunning. I hope the camera is doing it justice, but this one is really cool. And this is Opal Gazed. I said glazed earlier. It is Opal Gazed. 18 is the shade How Charming, and this one is a shimmery brown. There's no shift to this. It's more of a straight shimmer shade. This one doesn't have any sort of like flip to it. It is a traditional shimmery brown. Pretty based on the swatch. I'm like, okay, it's pretty. Nothing to write home about, but we'll apply it to the eyes and see if my opinion changes. Okay, this is actually so pretty. I know I was like, oh, okay, it's nothing special. It is so shimmery and glittery in the best way. I feel like as I'm going through these shades, they're getting like better and better as the numbers get higher and higher. So this is the shade 18, How Charming. We are getting to the home stretch. We are now at number 19. Number 19 is the shade Keepsake. And this is another kind of like gold with a shift. It kind of shifts to peach. Not totally picking it up on camera, but you actually can kind of see the shift there. And when I do arm swatches, I'll swatch everything in order. And then because I'm a masochist, I will go through and then also swatch everything by grouping as well. So you'll be able to see how this compares to the other like gold, green eyeshadows. Well, that one is very, very shimmery. My face by this point is just so messy, and that's not a reflection of the shadows. When I'm applying them, they actually have minimal fallout. It's more of just the wiping away and then reapplying, and it's the wiping away that's getting the shadows like all over my face. Here is the shade Keepsake. Is the shade Lilac Love. This is a very, very pretty lilac purple with blue sparkle. This definitely has with blue sparkle. This is the hand swatch. Very pretty. This is like mermaid fairy goodness. This one's applying just a tad splotchy. I think this one is a much better topper than a Wear Alone shade because it is on the sheer side, but it is really pretty. Here we have Lilac Love. Is the shade Good Fortune, which is a bright, like jade green. No flip to this one, but it is, whoa, the base on this one is so strong and so metallic. Whoa, wowza. Okay. Whoa. This is like straight up metallic. Some of these other shades have been super sparkly and gorgeous and I love them, but a lot of them have not been what I would refer to as like metallic, and this is alien green goodness. Something that is very important to note is I applied it and wiped it off immediately and there is green staining. So this one does stain the eyelids. For that reason, you know what, whatever. I'm already gonna look crazy with all the glitter on my face. I was gonna say for that reason I'll swatch this one last, but I just really wanna go in order. This is so pigmented. This is really, really cool. Obviously I would like wear it with something else in the crease and then liner, lashes, etc. And this is not an everyday color, but this is really magical. Really, really beautiful. This is the shade Good Fortune. This next shade, I was staring at, trying to figure out how to describe it, and the only way I could describe it was the color of the moon in a cartoon. And then I looked at the shade name and it is called Full Moon. So that is so apt. It is like a gray, lilac-y silver. It's showing up a little bit more purple on camera than it actually is. It is a gorgeous silver meets purple shade. Let's do a whoa! Holy moly, that is stunning. It's like lilac meets silver. That's how I would describe it. Gorgeous. This is just absolutely stunning. I love this one. So this is the shade Full Moon. We'll be back for the final two. So next up we have the shade Midnight Blue. This is shade number 23, and it is a royal blue. I have a feeling this one may stain as well, but we will see. Very, very pigmented. Not noticing, yeah, no shift to this, but just very pretty, very metallic. It's already staining my hand. So this is another one that does stain. Again, not the end of the world, but I like to mention it because that really does bother some people. Application is terrible, but the point of this is to really show you what the shade looks like. So this is the shade Midnight Blue. My first impression of this shade is it is really pigmented and it's really pretty. It could be something cool for like more of an editorial look, but it's not a shade I will probably be returning to unless it is for like a New Year's look. So not very wearable in that sense, but still very pigmented. Our last shade, and I feel so silly with one eye done, is the shade called You Up, number 24. And this is, it's not like a straight up black. It's almost like a black blue. I will not use this finger because it is stained, but whoa, whoa. Okay, this is cool. It's like a very wet looking black. I feel like majority of blacks I ever see are straight up matte. Whoa, okay, this is cool. Okay, that is like a very wet looking black shade. I don't think I have anything in my collection like this. Really, really cool. And this one so far is not staining. I was able to remove that hand swatch very easily actually, which was surprising. Let's go in with You Up on the lid. Wow. Ooh, that is metallic looking. This is the shade You Up. This is one of the coolest black eyeshadows I've ever seen. It is so freaking sparkly, but still has a really strong black base. I'm really impressed with this one. This is like a really special shade in my opinion. I'm going to remove these from my eyes and apply some primer and then actually apply like just one of these shades to my lid for the wear test slash fallout test. I primed my eyelids for the first time in my life. Putting on eye primer made my eyelids sting. So I'm going to probably need to put a ton of Vaseline on my eyelids tonight. So eyelids are primed still. This one is stained, but it is what it is. So I'm going to pick a shade to apply all over the lids and then check back in a couple hours to let you know how the fallout is. I tried to get as much fallout off my face as possible, but just given the amount of swatching I was doing, there are quite a fair amount of micro glitters, but I think I'll be able to like detect if the fallout that I see later in the evening is from what was already on my face versus what I'm applying now. I'm also going to reapply my concealer after I apply the shadows. I'm going to go in with number 1, Fairy Dust. This is one of the flakier shades of the bunch, so I want to see what that looks like on the lid after a couple hours to get a sense for like what the fallout's going to look like. A little bit of fallout there, but not a big deal. That's why you apply your concealer after. So here we have Fairy Dust applied. So pretty. Now I'm going to insert arm swatches and then come back and do comparisons and then talk about my favorite shades in the collection. Here we have the golds grouped together. These are the purple shades. Let's talk about favorite shades. Very difficult because all of them are stunning with the exception of one. The only one that I had issues with that I would avoid is shade 23, Midnight Blue. It was actually quite patchy. Even when I swatched it afterwards and when I applied it to my eye, it was a little bit patchy. So I would avoid that one. And then Good Fortune is really pretty, but it does stain quite badly. So I do want to call that out. Favorites, so hard, so hard. There are so many beautiful ones, as you will have seen in the arm swatches, but some standouts that I would definitely recommend prioritizing picking up. The first one, in no particular order, is the shade Unbothered. This is the one with the really cool gold green shift. The next one I'd recommend is Full Moon. That gorgeous, gorgeous lilac-y gray silver. Opal Gazed is so pretty. It is that white iridescent one. It would be a beautiful, beautiful topper shade or standalone shade for a like fairy kind of mermaid ethereal look. The shade You Up, number 24, I was not expecting to love this, but it is one of the coolest shimmery black shades I've ever seen. Really, really unique to my collection, and that's someone who owns tons of single shadows and just tons of eyeshadow palettes. Sugar Crush, loved this one. This is the one that has more of a sheer base, but it's so, so beautiful and quite unique. Number 4, Summer Dream. This is the one that is like purpley but blue but brown, similar to that MAC shade. It is so pretty. And then my last two favorites, again, very hard. I was just like, these are the ones where I'm like, okay, I would prioritize picking these up. 13 Renegade. This one is so, so pretty. This is the one that is like the purple to blue shift with more of a like lighter slash clear base. Not clear, but lighter base. And then the final one is actually not the final one. The second to final one is Birthday Girl. This one is absolutely beautiful. And then the final one is the one that I'm wearing on my lids right now, and that is Fairy Dust. And that is exactly how I would describe this shadow. I'm going to move into comparisons now. If I do tons of comparisons, this video will be a gajillion years long, but I'm going to prioritize doing some comparisons to the Urban Decay shadows. I've gone through my Urban Decay Moondust shadows, and I was able to pair them up to the MOIRA ones, at least based on the pan. So I'm going to show you which ones are closest, and then we'll do actual swatches. So for Cosmic, I wasn't able to find, at least in the pan, something that was identical, but Fairy Dust definitely was close. Something I will say is the MOIRA ones are a little bit like flakier than the Urban Decay ones. I noticed that when I was comparing them up close. Let's do some swatches though. So I'm gonna swatch Urban Decay Cosmic and then go in with Fairy Dust. Okay, so, and excuse all of like the bite marks from my kitten. This is the Urban Decay Cosmic shade, and then this is Fairy Dust from MOIRA. So very, very similar. The MOIRA one actually has way more sparkle than the Urban Decay one, which is really surprising because the texture, it looked like the Urban Decay one would be sparklier, but the MOIRA one actually is winning the game there. Next, for similar shades, I pulled Space Cowboy, the infamous, or rather the famous Space Cowboy, and then Sugar Crush. They're not perfect matches in the pan by any means, but they were like the closest I could find. I'm gonna do all the arm swatches at once and then show them to you up close. The next pairing, we had Solstice by Urban Decay, and that was closest to Summer Dream by MOIRA. The final matchup I have is Lithium by Urban Decay and How Charming by MOIRA. You can see these are quite close. These are pretty dang close. So we have the Urban Decay and then MOIRA. Urban Decay, MOIRA, Urban Decay, MOIRA, Urban Decay, MOIRA. And I will put the names up on the screen as well, so you know which ones are being compared. I mean, really, really similar, especially Lithium from Urban Decay to this one by MOIRA. I don't remember off the top of my head which one that one's called. And then Cosmic, and then Fairy Dust. Really, really close. I mean, then these other ones, these two are really close. These two are a little bit off, but overall, very, very similar. We are back for my final thoughts and recap of the MOIRA Chroma shadows. It has been 4 hours since I applied Fairy Dust all over my lids, and it's held up really well. No creasing, pretty minimal fallout. There still has been a little bit of fallout, but that's going to happen with any sort of shimmer shadow. I will say the next time I use these, I will be probably using more of a glitter glue primer like the NYX one as opposed to that Urban Decay one I used, just to really lock everything in, but really minimal fallout. Overall, I am so impressed with this collection. It kind of blows my mind what MOIRA continues to do for such a low price point. Highly recommend checking these out. Again, I listed my favorite shades earlier, but you really can't go wrong with pretty much any of them minus that blue shade. I hope this video was helpful. Would love for you to subscribe to my channel if you are not already. Thumbs up this video, all of the things, etc. And I hope to see you in my next video.